Well, hello and welcome, everybody. It's Ukraine Update here with the Shills. We got the four of us sitting in right now. Commander McMillan, Secular Sakai, Jana from Project Constantine, and the loudmouth myself. Starsky will be along in a few minutes or so, just running a bit late. We're going to have Greg Terry popping in. He's still doing all kinds of mission and road trippy stuff, and we'll get a good update there. No point in me saying anything because we can just hear it from him. So, I mean, I'm thinking right away, whoa, here, we got a couple of shout-outs we'll do quick. So, we had UTV Ken in the chat there, threw a $26 direct donation in. Whoever has the greatest need of funding. Good call. All right. Thanks, Ken. Big shout there. And then we had UTV and Ham also gifted out a membership, and so did Linda H. So thanks, everybody. That's a cool start to things. I was figuring that we would get to the ugly first, missile attacks, schools, and whatnot, and then we can move on from there into some other things. So let's see. We'll go around the clock, but like oddly reversed, and we'll start with Commander.
Okay. Hello. I don't want to dwell on it. I know it's a horrible, tragic thing, but you'll forgive me for being crude or cruel or whatever you want to say, but it's war, it's collateral damage, except in this case, it's not collateral. It was a direct, deliberate attack on that site. And this goes back to what I've been saying all along. I think it's well past time for everybody to just say, we're declaring Russia a terrorist organization.
Yeah. Outright. No, mixing words or anything either, you know, just outright. Yeah. I
mean, it's one thing when the missile goes astray and hits a target that, happens to be a hospital that you didn't intend to hit. But in this case, it's very obvious that is its precise target they were aiming for.
Yeah, absolutely. Secular Sakai there, your thoughts? Did we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously it's horrific what happened. I've seen pictures of the devastation. I've seen a few videos of people I know, including pretty well-known people who do streams from Kiev, who were there at the moment that it happened. And it's sickening. I've heard a recent update that, without digging into the weeds too much, not a full defection, but someone was so disgusted by the act, even on the orc side, that they've handed over some intel on those who coordinated the attack.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole list of all the people who are involved. Like, it's been published online. But
yeah.
I mean,
the world's reaction's been rough too, right? Yeah, I know. Like, there's been so many other instances of unbelievable orc behavior, but this is the kind of thing that even people sitting on the fence are now condemning them for. Hopefully, more publicly, like Commander's calling for.
And I mean,
Exactly.
But still, Ukraine is apparently still not allowed to strike Russian military bases because escalation management.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's...
how is this going to escalate even any further? At this point, I'm at the point where I'm like, if Russia drops a nuke on Ukraine, I'm thinking some of the NATO allies are just going to be like, we don't want to react. We don't want to escalate things.
Right.
That's how it feels at the moment,
It's approaching those levels, yeah.
Here's the thing. Moscovia doesn't care how many of their own people they have to sacrifice. Just look at the famines of the Soviet era as an example, not even talking war in general. But honestly, what the elites in Moscow and St. Petersburg do care about is, if a tactical nuke were dropped on us, it might disrupt things enough that we actually see the empire fragment. It's not about the lives lost. For them, it's what's going to erase our political establishment.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's maintaining power and privilege. That's all that matters in that country.
Exactly. So, I mean, honestly, put a little bit of fear of, hey, you want to threaten to do this? You know your country's not going to survive this. So go ahead. We'll play chicken with you.
Right.
And I bet you blink first.
And the other thing is, you guys remember when Russia blew up the dam last year?
Mhm.
Before they did that, they were like, we have uncovered intelligence suggesting that Ukraine wants to blow up the dam. And Ukraine's like, no, we don't. And the dam got blown up. This past week, they've posted now and said, oh, Russia announced that they found intelligence that Ukraine wants to blow up the Kyiv hydroelectric plant. And we're like, we're kind of seeing it happen again. But
that's
still
a very
don't strike
common
back.
practice among authoritarian regimes, where you blame your opponents for precisely what you are going to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Like accuse the other side of what you're guilty of, basically.
Yeah, it's, we see it here in the U.S. with a certain party saying, oh, they did that. And you look at it and go, no, every one of the people that is convicted of this are your people, but for some reason you think it's the other side's fault. I wonder how you arrived at that. Which organization from a hostile foreign country is advising you to say these things? I wonder.
Yeah,
Exactly.
which country on the map has their entire propaganda strategy centered around whataboutism and projection?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You do tell.
Let me get you in the show, buddy. Nobody can hear you for just 1 second here. You
won't miss Starsky snark. God, the poor audience. Miss all the good stuff. It's the Austro-Hungarian Empire. I knew it.
It sounds like a place that starts with M. Is it Mordor?
Could be.
Moldova. Damn it, guys.
I knew it, Chisinau.
No,
So, Starsky, how's things? What's happening your way?
It was okay. Today I met my friends from Germany, and we had some time together because this week anyways, I had birthday, but we didn't have much opportunity to celebrate because of the Russian strike on the Ukrainian clinic, So today it was a good opportunity to meet guys. I hope they're watching. It was really cool. I received this big card with greeting in German because they're trying to Germanize me, which is really cute. Yeah, but it was really nice. I missed you so much, my friends. I'm really happy that I'm here.
There it is.
Big heart to you guys. There are no hearts in my anyways. It was really cute. So I can say I'm happy. I don't really celebrate much. But when I have such opportunity, it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to meet friends. And be Germanized. Ich spreche nicht gut Deutsch, aber ich lerne. Und es ist ein langer Prozess.
Jawohl.
Yeah. They say it's supposed to be not too hard for somebody who's speaking English to learn German, but to me it just sounds like somebody angry with indigestion. I just never figure it out.
I feel like it's that, but then I saw, I read an article where they said that maybe that reason is because the biggest exposure we have to German in like the English-speaking world is movies about World War II, where they're always constantly planning, Hitler's speeches. That doesn't sound very friendly because the guy was screaming.
Yeah, you got a point there. Yeah, watching the History Channel will give you that impression.
When I was a little kid, I always thought that if you want to make a perfect movie about Germans during the World War II, like they don't even have to speak German; they have to speak English with like hard German accent, and it will work perfectly every single time.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's funny.
Du bist nicht ein Kuchenhaufen.
The crazy thing is, there's so much focus on World War II, but even if we're just talking about Germany, there was a lot that happened in World War One. I'm always more interested when I see a World War One film about Germany or any other place than World War II.
It was a crazy war, and one thing that I still need to learn, though, is, for example, history of Bismarck, because World War One, to me, even though we know a lot about World War One, but to me there's still a lot of pages that personally I want to learn for myself to understand. The other day we were in Düsseldorf, and there was a statue of Bismarck, and I'm like, excuse me, pardon me for being ignorant, but do Germans respect Bismarck or what? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I have to learn this moment because German history is something that I hadn't much chance to learn. So I hope that
modern Germany is effectively a creation of Bismarck's vision. He's the one that made modern Germany.
Yeah.
Up until then, it was a dozen petty kingdoms.
Yep.
And speaking of Germany, there's so much interesting facts. I've been to Bonn, to the Museum of German History, and by the way, it's a very interesting place because on the first floor there's a big chunk of this museum dedicated to Ukraine. And this is the place that is visited by probably all German schoolboys and schoolgirls. They go to this museum to learn the history of their country, of their people. And there's big portion of this museum dedicated to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. But not only that, Ukrainian Revolution of Dignity and things like that. I think it's a really good thing. It's amazing. But there's multiple floors of wartime Germany, post-war Germany, times when Germany was separated in two pieces. There's a lot of things dedicated to German industrial revolution, I would say, 50s, 60s, when a lot of things that were produced, for example, in Germany, they were basically smuggled to Soviet Union in big quantities, because Soviet Union had nothing like that. Speaking of quality, and there's a lot of pages of German history that you can see in that museum. It's amazing. Ulrika Meinhof, Red Army Fraction, which again is part of their history, and Red Army Fraction, of course they're terrorists. Come on, what else? What kind of symbolic they could have besides communist shit, right?
Yeah.
Russian communist shit, and things like that. One of the coolest places, though, that I visited the other day was Stasi Museum in Berlin. I talked about it. It's crazy, guys. So if you want to open a lot of different pages, different sides of Germany for yourself. You got to go to Bonn, visit their museum, and you got to go to Berlin and at least visit Stasi Museum. There's a lot of crazy things.
I
Yeah,
personally,
I think of all the museums I've visited in Germany, it was the Stasi Museum in Berlin. It was just like, holy cow.
I personally plan to be in the village of Weinstefan, Germany, in the year 2040, because that'll be the millennial, the 1,000-year anniversary of the oldest continuous running brewery in human history.
Oh.
That's worth celebrating.
They can support that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, do we have any news or anything I should hop into, or yeah?
Well, I was just
I
going to
have
check.
some updates.
Yeah, let's go around the table here
Okay.
and see what everybody wants to go at.
Cool. So I actually made a list of the updates. On the Project at Jana campaign 22 thing, we have bought 10 Blue 80s. They will arrive in August with John Parker from John's Red Bus. He's bringing that along with a car. And the other day we bought another car. And now with Pete not here, I'm the one doing it. So Helena was messaging me. She's like, Jana, you just bought a car. How do you feel? And I'm like, weird. You know? It's just like this money that used to be, it's very weird. I'm like, it's weird to have money that I cannot use for myself. You know?
Oh,
I'm very used to that around here.
It's so weird. I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't have milk in the fridge, but you know,
Yep.
just spent like 900, just spent about 999 pounds on Blue 80s, but no milk.
Yeah, I know how you feel. With a lot of the fundraising that I do, usually I just go donate to this account, and it's already associated with a partner I know in, it could be in Ukraine or for a few other things that I work on. But yeah, I've got a few NGO accounts, and it's the same thing. It's like, wow, there's like $10,000 here, and it's just going to sit there, and it's going to be spent, and yeah, it's going to send all the photos and updates. Yeah.
The hilarious thing is I keep converting it in my mind to South African rands. Okay.
A useless
so I'm
thing
sitting
to
here,
do.
I'm like, yeah, but I mean, it's like, so I keep looking at it, I'm like, wow, this is, that's a lot of money. So that's the one thing. Then we also got 2 NAFO trucks for the guys from the 67th.
Nice.
Which is really awesome. They took they took photos of both cars. The guys took photos, and the one looked like they're about to drop the coolest album of the year.
That's a great photo. I saw that. Yeah.
You saw it. They just look like they're about to drop a kick-ass album. And the other one I haven't uploaded the photos of, but Helena sent it to me, and I'm like, come on, where's the creativity? There's just like no pizzazz. You know,
Right.
it's just like, although you can't see one guy is laughing and there's a toilet roll in the car as well. That's the shot.
These things are important in a combat zone.
Yeah.
Starsky will testify.
There's another shot where one guy's standing there like this.
Yeah.
So those I still need to upload.
Yeah, but I can also confirm that milk is also important, whether it's combat or not. So milk is important. Please take care of it.
I agree.
And then, so I've got that. Oh, and then we found out that, with us, Helena speaking to the guys on the ground now, we're finding out about different needs. I don't know, maybe they talk about different things with us than they do to Pete, but we found out that all of them have to pay for their own Starlink subscriptions.
Oh, yes.
So we have started, or we are starting it. It is on our Buy Me a Coffee. What it is you can now adopt a Starlink.
Oh.
And then you cover, so it's $80 a month, but we also have shared custody if you only want to donate, if you only want to commit to $40 a month. And you will get an adoption certificate. We're going all out with like whimsical weirdness here, okay?
That'll work.
So we're getting that. And then you're also, there will be patches, and I'm in contact with Ukrainian illustrators because I want to have like a custom patch done for that as well. So yeah,
That's cool.
That's
That's cool. Awesome. Yeah, we've got a second NAFO fundraiser going on right now. We're promoting Janine's and yours all at the same time. So what we've done is we've pinned a link, and then we'll rotate it and pin another link, and we'll be shilling links into the live chat, and you just click the one that you want to. If you donate through us, just put in the thing where it's supposed to go. Right? Otherwise, then I have to make decisions, and it could take days. You know, it's just.
Yeah. Oh, also, Jana,
yes.
I don't think this will be available until next year, sometime in 2025. But remind me to send you updates about Project Quipper, which is a Starlink alternative from Amazon when it comes out, in case it's available in Ukraine.
Cool. We'll definitely check that out. Yeah, because I don't know if Charles watches this.
Yeah,
if he watches
not
the
money
shows.
going to Musk, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I will. You know, people have their reasons for not liking him, but I'll give money to Bezos over Musk any day, any day.
I don't see why either one of them would need money, but
yeah, fair.
You know, what are they camping and didn't have bog roll with them? I mean, what else? You know.
I'm just saying, if I got to pick one or the other for low orbit, high speed internet. Yeah.
Right. So that's what we've got with that, because we just before we started Project Jana, Charles Visser, who he's always on Greg's in Greg's chat, you know, he and his wife, instead of buying each other wedding anniversary gifts, they bought 10 Starlinks. And now our guys have 11 Starlinks, but only 2 are working because they can only afford to have 2 of them, to pay for 2 of them. And that's kind of started our idea of this adopt a Starlink thing.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, that's good, though. That's a good idea. You know, just take care of the monthly fees. Never have to worry about it, right? Done and dusted.
Yeah.
I like that.
Absolutely. I've heard of more than one unit who have had issues with the cost of Starlink and having to pay it out of pocket, because it's not cheap. It's not cheap by American or Canadian averages of income. So imagine having to pay that with the conversion rate to grivna. Yeah,
it's 3,000 hryvnia, or it works out at like 3,002 hryvnia that they're paying for it.
Yeah.
We had a direct Ko-Fi coffee donation in. You know they exist in the chat there. I wanted to go to the 777 in celebration of Jana's prowess, but I make no sense today. And it was a $7 direct donation in, so we'll send that over to Jana's group.
Thank
for sure.
you.
Yeah. Was there another beep? I had a couple beeps all at once there. Oh, I see. No, this Ko-Fi coffee place just has to email me 4 times for everything. I don't really understand the need of that. 1 is enough. But thank you. Let's see. News-wise, there's some other stuff to be... we were talking yesterday on the 42 show a little bit about some UN declarations and stuff that are coming out. They're talking about... there was talk about them getting into the UN, but there was praise made because a lot of steps have been made towards making sure that the criteria are met. But I mean, during actual conflict, do you think, Commander, there's any chance it's ever going to happen?
Who knows? I think before anything can realistically happen on either that front or the negotiated peace front or whatever you want, the Russians need to be made, the Russians, let me rephrase that, the Russian hierarchy, the oligarchy, need to be made aware that they are under threat and need to preserve themselves. And right now we're not seeing that. So I think we're likely to not see a lot of movement on that side of the activities that are going on until that happens. And that ties into one of the things that I find so galling about the continued delays on approving Ukraine's use of Western munitions to strike targets deep inside Russia, because it's those kind of strikes that will start bringing home the message to that cadre of decision makers.
Yeah. You got to kick the bully in the nuts to make him think, right?
Well, yeah, and right now all you're doing is, killing Ivan and Pyotr at the front, and they don't give a damn about that.
Here's something that I would love to ask Commander, because obviously not everything is a one-to-one comparison in the modern day, but we've seen situations in the past, whether it be the Russian Empire or the Soviet Union's collapse, and how they manifested in different ways. And I think the overall psychology of the regime isn't that radically different from those days.
No.
So what's the psychological component for the ruling elite in Moscow and St. Petersburg and other influential parts of Moscovia? What can actually be done to make them realize, hey, maybe now's the time to broker some deals, to jump ship, to throw Putin and others under the bus, basically to destabilize things?
The seizure of personal wealth from the oligarchs in various Western banks and so forth, that we know had an impact. The trouble is, as soon as it started to become evident that it was having an impact, then Putin had those people brought to heel by various means. They'd fall out of windows, experience smoking accidents, that kind of stuff. And the whole idea was keep them more afraid of the boss than they are of what might happen to their wealth. And I think that's the key thing, is as long as that pressure is maintained, at some point, hopefully, those people will begin to realize it's in their best interests to get rid of him. But that's really a tough decision point to reach for them.
I keep thinking to myself, because you recall, of course, the Chechen wars back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
There were different reasons, and there were different groups within Chechnya that sparked that and had it continue and be two wars, not just one. But I keep thinking, could there be a domino effect? Could there be a way to, because even if someone wanted to say, hey, get some assurances, I could stand up to Putin and either escape the country, or wherever I live could somehow have some form of autonomy or special rules, something that, would separate us or unlink us a little bit from Moscow. The biggest fear, I think, there would be, well, look at what happened to Chechnya back in the day. But if we could see something like that sparked again right now, while this war is happening, like an actual massive, not all across all of Russia, but just in certain specific key regions during this war in Ukraine, I feel like that would be enough of a major distraction. I just don't know how we could get to that point.
The obvious way one might think you could do that is by encouraging, financing, whatever you want to say, the ethnic regions to start thinking of their own interests against those of Russia, particularly the ruling elite. The problem with that is the regime is maintained by the ethnic Russians. And so until that message starts hitting home amongst the ethnic Russians, particularly the populations in Moscow and St. Petersburg, you're not going to have as profound an effect as you might hope.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons that the military, Russian military and Putin have been going to such efforts to not enact major conscription in those ethnic Russian areas. The primary draw for all the reservists that are being mobilized, the conscripts that are being brought in, etc., those are on outlying areas which have very little influence on the Russian political system. And so if you can find some way to target that, into the key areas, then it might start having more of an effect. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Commander. I absolutely support your point of view, but I would also like to add some of my thoughts here. There is something we can do, but we will never do that. Fact is, Putin is despite all this, mythology surrounding Putin and his oligarchs and his elite, all this espionage and stuff, him being a KGB spy and whatever. But in Russia, being a KGB spy and being a bandit, a mafioso, is basically the same. All the ruling Russian elites, they were to some extent controlled or involved with KGB back in the 80s, later in the 90s with FSB and things like that. But all the oligarchs, all the ruling elite in Russia nowadays, they are de facto mafiosi. And the only language mafiosi understand, guys, people in Russia acquired power through kidnapping, through assassinating, through shooting families, through burying people in a concrete, through whatever was happening in the late 80s and early 90s in Russia. I'm talking about the gangster times. And the only reason those oligarchs are now ruling Russia is because they survived. They survived because they were the worst of them all. The only language they understand, it's not sanctions, in my opinion. It's not sanctions. It's not, threats or whatever. It's basically the same. It's banditские разборки. It's gangster wars. It's assassinations. It's kidnapping family members. It's mass shootings and shit like that, and burying people in concrete. Fortunately or unfortunately, we will never be able to do that. But at the same time, this is the most effective language Putin and his closest people completely understand because they were involved in this. Fact is, we are not like them, and we probably, I think it's a good thing that we are not like them, and we don't think in such way that mafiosos think, because otherwise we would be like the same kind of shit, right? But it means that we should develop some different approach, something new that would definitely work. I cannot even imagine the shape of this, how it look like. Well, that's one of the problems.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. It'd be hard not to, wouldn't it? I mean, come on. Anything from the week that you wanted to get into, Starsky?
Well, not really. Regarding the information that was published yesterday and the day before yesterday in the media, the last victim of the attack on the pediatric clinic in Kiev was rescued by a 17-year-old girl. And from what I know, the rescue operation stopped, obviously, but there's still people missing. And who knows if their bodies will be found in the short-term perspective or not. I don't really have nothing specific to share right now because right now I'm really, really happy that I'm even able to talk to you guys after reinstalling the operating system on my Mac. My sound, my sound died. So basically, I could record video, but I could not stream. And I had to install additional software. Yeah, and finally, I can be with you guys again. Guys, I wanted to announce several things. First of all, Janine is fundraising for her guys. Please check her YouTube channel.
We got the link ready. The mods will be dropping it right now.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's what I wanted to ask you. Another thing, I decided to fundraise for my brigade as well. Like, I'm not a military anymore, and I think it will be a good idea. I talked to Max. Max will be sending me all the necessary things that the guys need, the list of the necessary things, and I will be fundraising for them as well. And I'm ready to start streaming since the next week, probably, because there's a lot of interesting things coming regarding the Institute and things like that. Well, I can only say that, guys, stay tuned and you will see everything.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, we'll have links out for everything here as we're going. The team's got everything. We're good. Yeah, Janine's fundraiser is a pretty important one too. So that's a good one to be supporting everybody out there. Pretty immediate need going on there. Sakai, we got a couple of news things we're going to get into, right?
Yeah, I have the articles pulled up. Also, I was going to throw in Tridents Against Tyrants. We still have our fundraiser going for drones as well, so feel free to check that out on the Tridents channel, everybody. Now, as far as news goes, let's see. I've got a couple of different things here. I guess first I'll start with is Dutch prosecutors find company that helped Russians in building the Kerch Bridge. So this I found very interesting. And according to this, Dutch company De Sekel paid 1.78 million euros to the Netherlands budget as part of an out-of-court settlement after data on its participation in the construction of the Russian Kerch Bridge was released. Now, I personally wish this was more than just fines. I don't think there's anything here regarding arrests that have been made. But in 2017, the media released an article about the role of Dutch firms in the construction of the Crimean Bridge, which prompted the Netherlands Public Prosecution Service and the Dutch Customs Service to initiate a criminal investigation.
Wow.
So this would be going all the way back to like 2014 or 15. Back at the original construction of the bridge. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me too much because we're all aware of corruption and the fact that even after 2014, the annexation of Crimea, there were still companies around the world that were doing business with Russia and just downplaying it a bit. But yeah, I guess what are your guys' thoughts on this? And more importantly, whether or not there are other similar companies that might be looking to do major business with Russia that need to be, monitored and kept an eye on across Europe or the US, other countries.
We got more
Oh, I think we
visitors
got someone who
in.
just joined.
Yeah, let me just get everything set up here. My computer just started to bog a tad, so I hope this is not the sign of impending doom.
Here we go.
Starsky was saying he had to do his operating system. I'm about to have to do that as well, to be totally honest. It's a joke. Okay, Greg, you're in. Yes, we can. How you doing?
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute.
Bro, yeah, there is no sound.
Yeah, hold on. Try now, dude. I mean, we can hear you, but it wasn't going to the show. It's just one of those days in OBS. It's about to crash. Okay, try again, Greg. Sorry.
Let's try it again. I'm traveling, so I'm not able to monitor anything. Can they hear now?
I am pretty confident they can.
All right, just let me know.
Yeah, I can hear
because
you.
Thank you, Jana. So I was reading the chat earlier and letting you guys entertain me as I travel to Warszawa and to Warsaw, and I'm getting closer. I can officially tell you guys I have Peter with me. Brutal. That's all I can say.
Red tape and nonsense, or how's the?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me say this. It was, we had all, you guys globally raised almost $17,000 in 24 hours for us to take care of Pete's funeral. And the expenses of Pete's funeral was about $10,000. And we're also going to be giving everything that's left over to Pete's mother and Pete's daughter as a gift. And probably we'll round that up to even more. I really want to be able to give them $10,000 cash to help them. So we'll make that happen. We had to go through all the processes and the documentation. Jana and Galina know all the backside, and Zhenya and the Ukrainian military. And let me tell you how good people are. I have full documentation from British Embassy, Polish Embassy, all certifications for Ukraine, death certificate, the right to carry the ashes, and I was even checked to the level where they wet seal the urn and the documents, and they put a twist tie, a piece of metal, on the closure of the urn, the case, and I was checked so intently that even they were checking that little piece of wire. And finally, I was polite because I knew, it's one thing to go to a poker table and you hope. It's another thing to go to the poker table and you have 4 aces.
Very much so, yeah.
So I knew, and unfortunately, all the people traveling with me, I had to delay them for an hour because they wanted to be absolute idiots on the border. And I'm just telling you guys the truth. But everybody's reloaded up, and I'm battling with these guys. And finally, I reached enough, and I said, "Listen, why are you doing this?" And this was on the Ukrainian side, and the Polish did the same thing. I said, "Why are you doing this?" I said, "I have all certifications. I have a letter from the ambassador of Poland. I have the ambassador's personal number. Everything is done. I have all documents. What are you doing?" "Well, we're not sure." I said, "Well, you got that right. You're not sure. But here's where we're at. Here's where we're at right now." I said, and this was an hour. And I finally had enough. And I said, "Okay, I'm legal, 1,000,000%. So from now on, this conversation is over. My next call is to Keith, and that call. And I'm not threatening you. I'm doing the game. And I don't want you trying to, but it's over." And he said, "Okay, that's enough." Some call Keith, who's no longer And so I'll say, I have an American foreign fighter who just left Tourette's and New York. I can say it because he's gone now. He was hassled so much at the border, and he doesn't speak any Ukrainian or Russian. And I was beside him, and the pressure they put this young man on, I was boiling, and I'm helping him. And finally, I go to the border guard, and it was both sides. It was Ukraine and Poland, and they asked me the same question after the his bags had went through the metal detector. They said, "Do you have any grenades?" And I looked at the border guard, and I said, "Let me ask you something. Are you that stupid?"
I will just say it has happened.
I said, his bag just went through a metal detector. He doesn't have any grenades. And then they were trying to seize his body armor and all of this stuff. And I says, listen, it's not happening. And we got him through. I've met a lot of wonderful people. So many people are aware of Peter. And I'm unfortunately or fortunately having to travel on a bus. Because everything, the infrastructure in Ukraine is so damaged right now due to the electrical. And I can tell you on this bus, everybody is so proud because they are aware of the delays at both borders. That was my fault, not my fault, are due to the situation. As they're all loaded on the bus, looking out the window, waiting for me to get on the bus, and the bus drivers are helping. And but these people are now aware of who they're transporting.
Right.
Yeah.
It's already such a hard enough thing. Like you need it to be,
They're aware of who they're I'm sorry, this is tough. They're aware of who they're transporting, and the attitude on this bus is like they're proud. Like it's really weird. It's like they know they're taking this hero to his family. I mean, they do know it, but they're well aware because of all the crap I've had to deal with. But it's like they're a part of this caravan, and they're very happy. There's a little boy sitting beside me. We've been talking, and he's just amazing little fella, and just it's good. So that's where we're at. Everything is on schedule and task, and we will finish what we started. And as I said 2 weeks ago, and all this from June 27th at 10:43 a.m. When Pete lost his life, we said we're going to do this one time and we're going to do it right, and we're accomplishing that. And so, thank you to all of the communities. Thank you to I know Commander's in here, Starsky's in here, Secular Sakai's in here, Jana's in here. I think Dickie's in here. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure Dickie's in here. Yeah. And am I missing anybody? I think that's everybody.
Yeah, that's the crew today. Yeah.
Just thank you to all of the community. Thank you to all of the world. It's been a very, very difficult time, but we're going to finish strong. And my family is messaging me nonstop saying, "Dad, just get home and give us a hug." My family all knew Peter very, very personally. Peter was really become a part of our family, and just so much personal interaction, so much care and love. And everywhere I went, I ran the front lines from Kharkiv, Vovchansk, all the way, ended up in Kherson. You guys will be seeing all the videos I promised. It's just not possible to do anything really in Ukraine right now due to the power. I couldn't even edit video hardly. You have power, then it's gone. Then you have to charge. And you can't be using electricity while you're trying to charge. And it's chaos. I've been averaging 14 hours a day with no power. But we've got everything documented, all the video. I'm going to be sharing with you guys every step of the way. And I will tell you the most powerful moment was the crematorium. But right behind that was where we spread Pete's ashes. I went very close to where Pete lost his life, and we spread the ashes there. I also was personally talking to the soldier who actually risked his life at the highest level and brought Pete off the battlefield. Incredible stories. And I fulfilled my promise to Ma Rose. I went to Pete's house and I sat on his bed, and everything that needed to be done is done. So thank you to everybody.
Good
Oh.
on you, man.
Also, Greg, I'm sending that that donation I mentioned the other week. I was hoping you could put into Pete's daughter's college fund.
Will
No?
do.
Yeah, so
Yeah, will.
that'll be coming through. Just you should see it in a few minutes.
No problem. Thank you, and we'll do everything. We're gonna take care of her and the family.
Thank you.
Yeah, the thing is, I was actually, I know Rick posted on his YouTube community tab. He posted the video with Dimitro, who retrieved Pete's body, and I sent that to Halina, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't know it was him. He didn't tell me." But now his wife's behavior at the funeral makes sense. So
I know the personal story, and I really don't want to share it at this point. But I'm gonna tell you that guy risked his life at the maximum level to retrieve Peter. It was extremely dangerous. He's a legend.
yeah,
I know, it's tough, but we're gonna finish strong. I have Peter's traveling first class with me, and it's we'll need a few days to recover. So, guys, I'm actually gonna go, and I'll put a community post up. But I'm chatting with the guys in Discord, enjoying that, sharing pictures and talking, and the Discord community has been so wonderful. All the YouTube guys, you've all been so wonderful, and I'm deeply appreciative. It was tough, but we all came together as a family, and I'm gonna actually reroute myself, and I'm going to spend 4 or 5 days with my wife, and then get back home with my kids, and then I'll be back, on YouTube normal schedule for a couple of weeks. I have to be back in Ukraine by August the 22nd. Ukraine, I'm registered, officially as official volunteer, and I did the final meetings yesterday, which is resident certification, and really good news on Ukraine. They're going to be giving me residence permit. So now I just come and go as I please, but I have to be back by August 22nd to retrieve it, and that's also the time the snatches are coming in, and we will be delivering those. So lots of good things are coming.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you for everything you've been doing for all of that during this time, Greg.
Yeah, man.
Well, you're welcome, and I wouldn't. That became priority.
Yeah, instantaneously,
and I do
right?
have to. Dude, listen, guys, I have to give a huge salute. I will rip it when it needs to be ripped. Where I see corruption or I see stupid behavior, but I'm going to tell you, the heroes on the front line are heroes, and the Ukrainian military, the way what they did to make this happen for Pete is unbelievable, and it's kudos. So I know Starsky is retired and still serving the way he serves with Propaganda Institute, and I was listening to Starsky, wanting to start some fundraising, and it's going to be awesome. We'll all get involved in that. But Starsky knows these guys, they're heroes. They are amazing how they come together, and everywhere we went, from Vovchansk all the way down through Donetsk Oblast, and you start getting down in behind Avdiivka way and Karakova, and then we ended up down in Rykov, and Rick and Merck got a good education when artillery is incoming in front of us and behind us.
Wow.
And they go, "Oh, we have artillery in front and behind." I said, "Yeah, that's okay, because we're in the middle."
Oh, that is a good point.
Greg, I have a question. How does Kurakhova look nowadays?
It's destroyed.
Damn.
It's destroyed. Starsky. A few days ago, I was with some of my guys, and I was watching. And I can say this now: I'm long gone. I was watching live drone footage from Thurs and New York, and it's leveled. It's leveled. Ukraine's still holding, but guys, it's gone. It's gone. And the front lines are extremely difficult. We're struggling for artillery on 80% of the front. The strongest supply of artillery we have is down south, and I don't want to call specific locations, but down south, we've got really good supply going, but we need that stabilized on other portions as well. And then of course the soldiers, but Karakova and Starsky, you know the supply road. There's nothing here is private. You know the supply road from Pokrovsk that goes into Konstantinivka, and it comes within about 12, 13, 14 kilometers of Ocherny, and then you have 2 more villages. So Russia now is only 5 kilometers, 5 point some kilometers from that main important supply road, and it's nonstop shelling on it. We really need to hold that road, and it's they're doing the best they can. But to be quite honest, guys, from Chasiv Yar to Karakova is difficult right now. Very.
Yeah, and there's not much. There's no point in pussyfooting around because you've seen it. You were there.
Yeah. We came over the hill. So it's hilly down south, towards Robo,
Shit.
all that. We came over the hill, coming down into utter and coming everywhere there.
I think we got a little connection issue there for a minute.
Yeah, I think the connection's cutting out. Greg, can you hear us? Also, I thank you to everyone who's been making donations. Heroyam Slava.
Greg, yeah, we'll get to all our shout-outs there. Greg, we lost you for a bit there. Are you back, or he might be
on a train? He's on a train. He went into a tunnel.
yeah, could very well be. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, okay. He just had a dropout, so we'll see if we can get him back in. I had a feeling that was about to happen. Well, let me take a minute to do shout-outs and everything here while I got one, because I'm unbelievably behind, as it turns out here. So Papa Dutch came in with a shout-out message there. Congratulations, you have been germinated. That was from earlier, Starsky. Germinated, I love it. Papa Dutch here, super chat in. Germinator 4, Rise of the Bots, coming to theaters this summer. Yvonne Way came in with a, I think it was a super sticker, but it could have been a direct super chat in. Papa Dutch came in with a super chat as well. Hey, it's beer, eh? When we were talking about the celebration there. 1,000 years. Holy, man. Generic username in with a $5 shout. Yvonne Way came in with one of the super stickers. Here we go. We've got, that was an update on a member thing as well. Yvonne Way there gifted out 5 Shills memberships as well. So thank you very much. RC William came in with 20 euro super chat. World War II German officer standing in front of his company with a letter. Finally, after 3 months, our Fuhrer permits us to exchange underwear. Schultz with Mir Oppenheimer, and with Huber and Schultz and Merkel. That was a good one. Demetrius Siganova sent in a direct $10 donation, and going right to it's a Slavie Ukraine shout, so into the Boom Boom Fund. Joe Medley sent in a $100 direct donation, so into the fundraising it goes. Generic username, that's a big shout, Joe, thank you. Generic username sent in little message or super chat there, watching with my fudge pillow, so that's cool. Awesome. Royal Castriata threw in a $20 shout out there. NATO needs to bring back General Wesley Clark. He's the one who wanted to wipe out the Russian contingent in Kosovo in '99. Dude's a legend. There's a shout for that. I'll agree, because, harsh words, harsh action. Where am I here? Papa Dutch, $10 super chat. Oh, no. Putin has to go. Go, Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga. Which that's... what was it, Ant-Man? They were going on about Baba Yaga. Papa Dutch, another $10 super chat. He's just raining funds on the board here. Hey, look, and we got Gerdes in as well. 1 second here, buddy. I'll get right over to you. We've got Papa Dutch threw in Putin has shown again and again the Kremlin doesn't care about mankind. F him. Stephen Walsh came in with a $10 message there. Love you guys. Love you too, buddy. Good to see you around. Awesome. They exist came in with 777 super chat, which is cool. Triple F there. A 777 salute to Pete. That's awesome. Stephen Walsh then comes in with a $100 director super chat. Yeah. We can't lose ourselves, Pete. Another big one. Thanks, Steve. Huge thanks there. Baltar came in by your command with a $20 super chat there. Boom, boom. Any advice on how to link a unit that my friend is serving in Ukraine to people that can help them fundraise for equipment? They pay for everything out of pocket. Baltar, yeah, join our Discord, get in touch. I can put you in touch with a few people, and that is not going to be a problem at all. Apatox came in with a super chat. Ukrainian Hearts, Greg, thank you. So, yeah, we'll pass that along to him. Hopefully, he'll be right back in. Stephen Walsh came in with another one. Armas, unstoppable. Awesome. Dunk on You, 23 came in with Slavie, Ukraine, Heroium Slava, and Peter. And Dunk on You also gifted out 5 Shills memberships. And I actually got caught up. So here, let me get everything situated. I'm almost ready. Hold on. We go like this, and we go like this. And...
the cap.
I love it, yeah. So, Professor Gerdes, welcome to the show. How's it going?
I'm doing just fine. How are you? How did you do that evil robotic voice just now?
I got a voice changer so I can have the little kid, and I can have this one too. And I got a few other settings and stuff. It's the preamp interface for my microphone that has all the toys, right?
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's fun.
I wish I had mine here with me, but I'm away from my usual studio, so I'm just on a headset mic. Yeah. It changes the game when you're used to it, right? Yeah. Greg just sent me out a thing. Connection's bad, but he really wants me to read this out. So hope you guys were able to hear some. But Ukraine has the best soldiers, the best will to win. They are fighting for freedom for the world, sovereignty, family, and soldiers that have already given their lives. We believe for supply to continue. But with that said, the war is real. It is hell on the front. And all of you guys that support, they know it. You know who you are. These guys feel it. Do not stop. It's very difficult for Chasiv Yar and Kirkov. I'm going to get that wrong, but you know where I'm talking about here, everybody. I hope heard Starsky heard the answer as well. Karakov, nonstop shelling. They're finishing out with the mission with Pete, and continue on, fight till victory. And he's going to try to reconnect and be back. So we'll see how this works out.
Yeah, just on the frontline condition thing in Chasiv Yar. One of Pete's last videos, he posted it on Twitter. One of his last videos, he was saying that it used to be rotation-wise on the front, in the army, used to be 3 months on, 3 months off. Now they work in percentages. Like if, I think it's, he mentioned something like 60%. If your brigade is at 60% capacity, or has, 40% capacity of the guys that they used to have, then you're sent out because then you're no longer as effective. And that used to be quite a while.
Right.
Our guys were in Chassefiar for 2 or 3 weeks. Just to give you an idea of...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would like to say thanks to Greg because there's a lot of things that connect me to Kurakhova in 2015, 2016. It was a place like we had like a base camp there. I had numerous deployments back then. Back in 2015, we were operating from Kurakhova to Mariinka, Verkhny Toretsk, Krasnohorivka. Those places don't exist, unfortunately, today.
That's that shouldn't even be a conversation that we have to have in the modern day and age. You know, Professor, we've been going over, you know, the children's place attack and, you know, some other things said by NATO and stuff, you know, little things and whatnot. I wanted to ask if you caught this or not. When the Chinese delegate or whatever, you know, the NATO summit in Washington, they were, you know, you guys have to stop like picking on us, that little speech that was set out. To me, it basically read like the Kremlin wrote it.
So I didn't catch that. It was big that NATO actually said something of substance about the Chinese enabling them, which that was good. They need to be on notice that they're aware. But I did not catch that little bit of it. It wouldn't be surprising to me if they were in cahoots with what, you know, getting on the same page. Of course, their actual state media can't seem to get on the same page about whatever they're saying, like the Children's Hospital. We have precision missiles, but the Ukrainians did it. But it was the Ukrainians shooting down one of our missiles, but no, they actually targeted it. But it was like 5-6 different messages simultaneously.
Yeah.
And they're okay with sending out these mixed signals from all state-controlled media stations, which is just utterly bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
they
it
can
was,
control this message.
but I think it was either Greg or Starsky who said that the whole point of all this state-side propaganda from Russia is they put out so many weird narratives that you start questioning which one is the truth. And in the end, you're just like, I will never know the truth. I'm just going to give up and stop trying.
But equally important, you're afraid to ever say anything about it because if you're not spouting the current official version of the event, then you're a bad person and can go to prison.
So that may be true internally, but externally it means you just can't trust them.
Right, the same thing. They don't want to be trusted because they want to keep chaos and confusion as constantly out there, because then not only do you question their stuff, you question anything that comes out. Even if it's a reliable source, you automatically end up thinking it's all part of the same mess.
Honestly, yeah. Sowing fear and confusion, making basically even the concept of having a discussion about whether it's the war or current major electoral political battles that are happening across many countries. You know, the U.S. presidential election is coming up, for example. The more of that you can encourage on a global scale and keep it so that people have no desire to get involved or to trust anyone, the more beneficial it is to regimes like Russia's. Yeah.
I know I started this conversation, but can I shift gears back to where we were before?
Yeah,
I
please.
came in a little late to what you were talking about, and I just lurked for a while, and you were talking about Pete and the current fundraiser. Jana, can you tell me? Yeah, I know it's at 103,000, and I know that because I pushed it almost every day. I didn't do it this morning, but almost every day in my daily brief saying, hey, look, this is Pete the Medic's last fundraiser that he was pushing. Use this official link only. Is there going to be some kind of coordinated effort to push it? Because I'm doing it, but I'm only seeing, $1,000 or a couple $1,000 each time we talk about it. And there's a long way to go to 320,000.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't spoken to anyone to ask for a coordinated effort yet. We've been it feels like we've been playing catch up.
No, and that's totally understandable. I mean, this is a rough time, but I figure I'm at a little bit of a distance, so it's not like Greg was under it, right?
Yeah.
I get that. I mean, I understand you being under it, but hey, man, I'm trying. So
I appreciate
anybody else
it.
who can help push that along,
we're doing it weekly as well, and whatnot. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been mentioning it on Tridents also, but of course Tridents is one of the smaller channels out of all those gathered here. So I mean,
every bit helps.
Every bit helps. It would be fantastic if we could get a bug in the ear of well, I don't know. I won't name drop any channels.
Yeah, let's not put anybody on the spot here. Yeah.
But you guys know there are a few channels with more than 100,000 or 400, 500,000 subscribers, and the more word we get out there, especially among larger channels, the more support we can get it to 320,000. I do confidently believe that. My real question is what will be the time frame for it?
Yeah.
As it is, Helena spoke to Shum, who you guys know from the launch video of it. And he said main priority right now is vehicles, which is nice because we got 2 NAVO trucks and we've bought 2 other cars already that aren't in Ukraine yet, but the guys already have the 2 NAVO trucks. And then we've got the Blue 80s coming in. And we're also now starting, Prof, I don't know if you were here when I mentioned it, but we're basically starting a Adopt a Starlink campaign because the guys don't have to pay for their own Starlink fees.
Yeah.
So we're starting that, yeah.
We used to have a bumper sticker in the United States that said, "Wouldn't it be a great day if all education was funded and the Air Force had to pay for raise cupcakes for a bomber or something along those lines?"
Hold a bake sale to buy
a bake sale to buy a bomber. Turns out that's not a good day. That's really a bad experience when you have to do that.
Yeah. That's probably one of the few positives. Well, one of the positives of a large, bloated military budget, one of the biggest on the planet. You usually don't have to do that to get the things you want. Yeah, but we need to get everything that we can to Ukraine. We need to get the newest equipment. Yeah.
Yeah, and more ammunition for the weapons that are there. You know, I'm always hearing about undersupply, and then everybody's pledging billions. Well, let's get the shells over. Let's get the,
It's so hard to sift through the news reports.
Yeah.
There's a pledge here, a pledge there. I don't want to hear about a pledge. I want to hear about the delivery.
Exactly.
Talk about it after it's gotten there. Come on.
Here's what I want. The pledges are fine, but you know what? Let's actually follow up on them. Let's not make them piecemeal so they're delivered over like a 3-year period, because that's not realistic or helpful right now. And let's make a trend of, here's the video, here are the photos, here are 10, count them, 10, 15, 20, whatever it might be, vehicles or Patriot systems, and here's the proof that they've been delivered in Ukraine. I mean, I get we need to have OPSEC, but also we need to have visuals. We need to get people invested.
There's also another part of it, and I think this is intentional. I don't like it, but I understand why it's happening this way, which is, for example, a couple of months back, the U.S. said, yeah, we're going to give, I think it was $65 billion to Ukraine. And then last week it was announced, well, we're giving them $156 million to buy, Stingers and artillery ammunition, et cetera, et cetera. What people don't understand is that 165 million is part of that 65 billion.
Right.
everybody's mental image is, okay, we gave them 65 billion. Now we're adding on an additional 156 million.
Right.
No, we're not.
Right.
That's that incremental thing. If we gave you this big block, but you don't get it all at one time, we trickle it out to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a sneaky, deceptive way of making it sound like you're doing more than you really are. And it gives you an excuse for why you're not delivering as much as you really ought to be delivering at one time.
Right.
Can I
Sorry.
Can I ask Commander something here? Because he's
Sure.
probably got more military sense than I do. So I was reading that what Ukraine can attack within Russia is about 14% of the effective range that they have. How do you understand why they are not allowed to fire beyond that within the other 84% of effective range?
Right. The reason I suspect, and nobody's ever issued a conclusive statement behind what the rationale for the restriction on engaging targets in Russia is. But I think what they're saying is, okay, that one area near Kharkiv, we know there's a bunch of, weapon stockpiles, ammunition stockpiles, fuel dumps, etc. You can target those because those are currently supporting an immediate localized offensive in that area. The reason they're not letting them engage targets any further in is, as we've talked about several times, is this fear of escalation, which is that if you hit targets deeper in, then potentially the Russians decide, okay, we need to teach NATO / the US a lesson. We're going to start striking targets in their back areas. So instead of hitting just targets inside Ukraine, for example, the rail links where stuff flows in from, say, Poland or what have you, they're going to start hitting bridges inside Poland or something. And everybody's terrified because that takes you up to that level of superpower on superpower, alliance structure against alliance structure confrontation, which can rapidly accelerate to nuclear confrontation. I think that's a lot of what's going on.
So would you agree then that we're being deterred?
Yeah, very effectively. And it's a self-imposed deterrence. We have deterred ourselves for what I would argue are foolish reasons.
Yeah. And here's another thing, because this argument I know has been put out there since the beginning, and it's one that I disagree with. It's one I very much dislike. But how much of it do you think is legitimate just fear from the US or other Western governments, like actual deterrence from the other side? And how much of it do you think is this erroneous idea of, oh, well, if we make it piecemeal and the war lasts longer, it'll somehow weaken the Russians, as though they aren't still building more tanks and other weapons, like, oh, this is the right way to crash the Russian economy and political structure, even though that's, in my opinion, non sequitur.
Possibly, but I think it's kind of the other way around. It's, if we gave Ukraine everything all at once, that's our money going out all at once. We can't get it back. And so it's a cost-saving measure to some extent, I think, is a lot of what's going on.
So
that's even worse to hear.
argument,
It's another part of the ridiculousness of this.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That argument was a lot more potent in the early days. In the first couple, like days or weeks, were like, they didn't really.
Yeah.
Honestly, the U.S. government didn't think that Ukraine was going to be able to fight like it did, and then the Ukrainians proved them wrong. And so but once they have proved themselves, give them what they need. Like,
yeah. 100%.
You're not going to get any pushback on that from me. I totally agree.
I understand.
Let's Greg, can you hear us? Sorry, guys. Greg, you're back.
Yeah,
you're good?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hear me?
Yeah, you're in. Okay, all good.
Yeah.
All good.
Sorry, you got it unmuted, Dick?
Yeah, everything's good. Didn't screw it up this time. Well, the app didn't lock up and ruin it. But yeah, we're good.
Well, I sent you that message. I'm coming into Warsaw right now, and I'll just give me a couple of minutes. First of all, hello, Prof. And I did hear Starsky. He received the message about Krakow, and I heard about his service there, and also into those towns around it, Marinka and the other towns that he was mentioning that are now gone, which is a fact. So just to reiterate, guys, from Chassis VR down to Krakow is very, 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 very difficult. But with all that said, we're going to finish well. I heard you guys talking about the fundraising for Pete Project. I heard Prof come in here and mention that. So, guys, a part of this is, and I just put it out there right now, Jana, myself, Project Constantine, Jana, and Galina, this has been very, very overwhelming. It's been, my guys here, Jana, is unbelievable, and the Ukrainian military, and I'm not exaggerating, guys, it's been 12 hours a day of work to facilitate all of this to honor Peter the proper way. And it's been nonstop. And then throw on top of that, we did a frontline run with Rick and Merck it was very eye-opening for them, and those guys did a good job. And I want to thank Rick and Merck because I know Merck has done some NAFO runs, but this was completely different. We dropped some aid at a certain hospital, and then we went to another town in the east, and we came back to that hospital, and two incomings came right on top of where we were. And it's not because they're tracking us, it's just what they hit. And what people don't understand, and I know Starsky knows this, is, guys, what you see on the news is nothing compared to the reality of those frontline towns. And when you think about the loop road, I call it, which is Slaviansk to Kramatorsk, Drushkivka, Konstantinivka, that support line for Chasiv Yar and for Siversk, and then pushing down towards New York and all those areas, that is a fortress area for Ukraine. And it's never on the news, and it should stop, guys, nonstop. So a part of what I was saying earlier, and Prof. Curtis, I heard him hop in here, and we want to finish the Project 22 because a part of finishing, and I'm getting ready to finish one action now. I'm about 15 to 20 minutes from getting off of this bus, and Peter will be he's right here beside me, but he will be with me, and we're going to finish this journey to deliver him to his family and all of his supplies, his life. I have everything that needs to be given for his mother and his brother and sister and daughter. We're going to finish that, and then we will finish the delivery of the armored vehicles, which was Peter's idea. So that will be finished. Thirdly, we will finish Project 22 because a part of finishing strong is finishing the things that Peter initiated. And I have video that the world has never seen, and I will share in the coming days about Peter talking about this project. And he would call me, and I have video of it where he was scared to death to push a project of that magnitude. And he says, in that South African British boiling accent, he was saying, "God, this is not a vehicle. This is, man, we've got to do this, brother. We've got to do this because we've got to make up the slack and ripping it. And there's no way, guys, we will not finish that." So that will be a combination of all of us working together. Prof, Starsky, Dick, Rick, all of these others. We've already made these decisions that we will partner together. We will, and of course, PK heading it. And Jana and Galina, we will finish this in honor of Pete's desire and vision. And then I'm going to tell you one other project we're going to finish. I was with Pete's guys, with Loza, all his guys. We were able to spread part of his ashes very close to where he lost his life. We went as close as we could get. And it was incredible. It was like and I know we have different viewpoints here. For some of us, like Johnny Pierce, the stars align. For some of us, we're kind of in the middle of the road. Maybe there's a God, maybe there's a not. For me, and I know for Prof and others in here, it's like, okay, this was miraculous, and you guys will be seeing it. So we're finishing that well. But when I was with Pete's group, the medics looked at me and they said, "Greg, there is a massive need on the front." I said, "Okay, what is it?" He goes, "Man, we need gauze." I said, excuse me, you mean like Z-fold or, Israeli bandages? He goes, no. We need standard 4 and 6 inch rolls of gauze. There is none. I said, okay. And so we will also be doing that. And I'm going to do that. And all of us together will do that. We'll spearhead it. We're already working on locating the gauze in Poland. And we will be, when I come back in August, not only we're going to be bringing armored vehicles, but we're going to bring pallets of gauze. Because that first request, and it's really weird how this works, that first request came from unit right there. I'm sitting there and we're hearing the artillery and they're going, man, we need gauze grade. I said, okay, let's do it. Let's do it in honor of Pete. And what was really weird, from that moment forward, everywhere else we went on the front, which was for the rest of the week, we had the same request. Greg, you know where the gauze is? You know what gauze is?
Wow.
And I said, okay. And it's like Prof always gives me headaches and homework. And Prof sends me to the front line and says, put your body armor and helmet on and get to that commander and ask them what they need. And then we'll deliver exactly what they need.
Wait, Greg's embellishing.
So we do that. No, I'm not. He says, well, maybe
He doesn't say about the body armor.
I do not say the body armor. That's correct.
No, he doesn't. Okay. Well, I have to put the body armor on and the helmet on to get to where he wants me to go. So, but it's really good. Prof is such a supporter of Ukraine and his ideas. He says, man, let's ask them what they need and let them tell us. And that's how metal detectors came. And that's how Pete's vision for armored vehicles, medevacs, Kazivacs. And that is now how, from Pete's own unit, this gauze idea. So in combination with finishing that Project 22, Project Tatiana, we're going to do a little gauze project and we'll smash that. So that's it. I'm about 10 minutes from being able to move Pete on to the next location in Warsaw finally. And it's been a very, very long day. So thank you. I'm just going to sit here and listen to you guys. And I just want to say thank you to everybody here, all the guys that are here. Most importantly is not the guys in front of cameras. Okay. Most importantly is the people that are in the chat, all you wonderful people that lay aside your differences and focus on standing for what is right and helping Ukraine. I say to you a huge tribute and a huge thank you, because without the people of the world standing together, this would be nothing. So thank you.
Absolutely. Very well said.
Very well said.
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank
Let's give him the William Shatner girlfriend dance in the chat here.
Okay. I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to listen for about 10 more minutes of my ride here, and then I'm going to say good night to you all. But how can I go from all of us agreeing that we thank all the viewers, and the next thing I know, we have a dance in the chat. That's only Dickie Dawson.
You didn't even see
only
the
on
dance.
the Shills.
Oh,
Only on the Shills.
Only on the shows. Oh, Greg. Also, I DM'd you on Discord, so when you get a chance, feel free to take a look at that. And once again, thank you for all that you do, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you all. I'm chilling. I'm
Save
looking
Greg.
at. Thank you, Starsky. And let me sign off. I'll continue to listen on YouTube as I finish my journey and save Dickie's bandwidth. But just huge thank you. And of course, in addition to all the community that makes it happen, yes, thank you to Dickie Dawson. Thank you to Starsky. Thank you to Jana. Thank you to Galena. Thank you to Commander McMillan. Thank you to Cyclist Sky. Thank you to Prof and all the other partners that we work together. We're one big team.
Damn right.
And, we can accomplish much more together as we stand together. So thank you guys. I'm going to sign off and listen to you.
Good words, buddy. Chat real soon,
Thank
man.
you, guys.
Take care over there.
Yeah, man. Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, so who wants to go where now? We got about 20 minutes.
Well, let's see. I guess we could jump into a little bit more news right quick.
Sure.
Let's see here. I've got something on everybody's favorite nationalist leader, Viktor Orban. visiting Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago following the recent NATO summit.
I think KY Jelly sponsored that meeting.
No Russian connection at all, please.
Yeah, absolutely. There hasn't been this much confusion over the name of a product since Y2K. Now then. Anyway, so Hungary's nationalist leader visits Trump at Mar-a-Lago following NATO summit in New York. Hungary's nationalist Prime Minister Viktor Orbán traveled to Florida on Thursday and met with former President Donald Trump following a NATO summit in Washington, a move likely to aggravate frustrations among Western allies over similar secretive trips he made to Russia and China in recent days. Orbán met with Trump at the former president's beachside compound Mar-a-Lago and shared a photo of the two on social media with the caption, "We discussed ways to make peace. The good news of the day, he's going to solve it." So, pushing past the fact that it seems like almost an unofficial endorsement or support toward Trump in the upcoming election, to me, this just screams we're planning on appeasement as the policy of the day, assuming that Trump wins the election. So,
there's a related issue that came up with that in the news as well.
Oh, really? Yeah, please.
Erdogan has been trying to stand up again to be the guy who's going to broker the peace. And the Russians shut him down really hard. It was like, we're not going to let you do anything. So I think it's pretty clear they're trying to use Orban as their front man, and he's going to be the one to try to set up some sort of magic arrangement. And, he'll come out as the hero, and then he can say what a great man Putin is for allowing this to happen, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah, and that's because they don't trust Erdogan at all, and also low key, I think that
does anyone?
Well, yeah, no one does. They don't trust each other.
Erdogan is pro Erdogan.
Exactly. Well, Erdogan's pro Erdogan, Orban is pro Orban, and Putin is of course pro Putin. But I think a big part of it personally is also because today there's the war in Ukraine, but I think that they want less collaboration, even if it's begrudging, with the Turks, because tomorrow in the Caucasus, the Russians plan on involving themselves in situations that will come to direct heads with the Turkish military.
Russia doing something like that? No, say it isn't so.
Professor Gerdes, you want in on that?
No, I want in on a different topic.
Okay, go for it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Joe Biden and his electability, and it's increasingly slipping, and it's to the point where 2 weeks ago we weren't thinking this, and now calling Zelensky Putin, like how I mean, like he didn't really think that was Putin. I get it. But still, and I make little slips in what I say, but that was it's just feeding that narrative to the point where the prediction markets, if you don't know, are like people actually spend their own money. It's like gambling, like sports betting, but it's on like political things. Now Kamala Harris was like neck and neck as of yesterday with Biden as being the candidate.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's a big movement. Like a dozen congressmen have already been out like saying, no, we got to replace Biden. I don't know what will happen or not happen. He could be replaced, but he would have to step aside rather than be forced. And I see no appetite for him to step aside. So if he stays, it seems like there's an increased, I don't know how much, probability of Trump. And as we all can tell, that's probably going to be a bad thing for Ukraine. I mean, like there's an outside chance that Trump might be different, but from his statements, I would not trust it, right? So that's really complicating the matter, and we don't know who would be the other candidate. And yeah.
Here's the thing, Prof, and actually you might be you might have enough background knowledge or education on U.S. presidential elections of the past to give some insight on this. Because there was a similar, albeit less extreme discussion around Reagan when he was on the campaign trail way back.
He got past that.
Yeah, he did get past it. He was able to power through and have enough debates that were strong or were good, that even the ones that were flops and had people, call his cognitive health into question kind of wound up irrelevant in the grand scheme of that election.
Didn't have social media at the time.
Yeah,
That
and
too.
that's a
That
great
too.
point, Dick.
Yep. Very, very true. So my question is, which do you think is, for Democrats, the better strategy to try to power through and
No.
kind of Reagan style try to make it work with Biden? And if they do replace him, because let's be honest, there are certain pre-existing things that affect the markets and predictions, like whether or not an incumbent is running or not. Do you think it's going to tip things too much in the Republicans' favor if they, try to go with a different person?
No, I think Biden has tipped it in Trump's favor with the gaffes at the. So many people are now looking at it going, I kind of thought he was like that, but now I can see it. And they've kind of crossed over. And I think a different candidate would be far stronger against Trump. And I can't tell who the candidate would be. That's my perspective.
I agree.
The trouble is, this move should have been made much earlier in the campaigning season.
Yep.
Because right now, 2 states have already locked the ballots. So regardless of who they put the Democrats decide to settle on, it's going to be Biden's name appearing on those 2 states' ballots.
So
that's one thing. The second thing is there's like 6 or 7 states where literally the day after the convention, they lock their ballots as well. And if you know anything about the way the Democrats move, it'll take them, a week, 2 weeks, a month before they can finally get their act together and lock those, and get the name submitted for a replacement.
Let me be candid then, just from the logistics, the procedure of how the election is being organized already at this point. It sounds like, I don't want to be doomsday, but it sounds like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. You stick with Biden, you're going to be hurt even more. If you go with someone else, you could definitely find someone better, but is it going to still end up being a situation, switching candidates this late in the race, that hands it to the other side?
I think
to Trump.
I think switching candidates does that. It hands it directly to Trump. I think if you stick with Biden, it will be a tough fight. But I think given Biden's record over the past 4 years, which is not bad, let's be honest, plus the fact he has surrounded himself with good people, and we know that people that Trump's going to bring in are basically a coterie of lickspittles.
Crooks.
Criminals, literally in some cases. I think that is going to work against him if you just keep Biden. People are going to hold their noses, wish there was another name on the ballot, but realize, you're choosing between the lesser of 2 evils here.
Right.
And it's obvious which is the worst.
So this is to the point that I saw this on Fox News yesterday, that Heritage wants to have a lawsuit if Biden is removed. That's because they want to run against Biden because they perceive Biden to be that weak. So that's where the Republicans are. You can say that that's not the case or that people won't see it that way, but that's how they're thinking. And again, I'm not arguing for that, but that's how they're thinking. I also think that JD Vance or someone all MAGA all the time is probably going to be the Republican candidate. And that isolates people like me. I'm a Republican, but not that kind of Republican. I was like voting for Nikki Haley and that is a bad move on the Republicans' part to do that, because then they're still isolating the people that they need to try to pull back into the fold with Tim Scott or Nikki Haley or something along those lines. So if they pull in Vance, they're just doubling down on MAGA. And if they try to reach out, then they're thinking differently. So those 2 things to look for.
I think that the situation with Heritage is very interesting, especially since they're the architects, to my understanding, of the Project 2025 initiative. That is what I've seen when researching that topic. And then also the fact that they were just hacked, 2 days ago? Yeah, they were. Project Heritage
Yep.
Foundation and Project 2025 were actually hacked by hacktivists from the LGBT plus community. That's how they put their signature on it, basically. And so I think that there's a bit of panic right now in the way that there might be media responses. Maybe in the next few weeks it'll normalize, but Heritage is not in a good position right now, in my opinion.
And I think that's another thing that is worth mentioning. I mean, this is purely anecdotal, but you're standing proof, Professor. I keep hearing all sorts of people who are lifelong Republicans saying, there's no way in hell I want Trump to get another term. And they're turning away, and they may not vote for Biden, but they sure as hell aren't going to vote for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that a lot of the people in the GOP are starting to see. But the trouble is the GOP as A, sold its soul, and B, is now dominated by the MAGAs. It's a cult. So they can't divest themselves of, the orange-headed turd.
So
Yeah,
so
I found
Heritage is a case in point. I'm sorry, Jana, I'll
No,
be
it's
done
fine.
in just a moment. Heritage is a case in point. It used to be the flagship conservative think tank, and then it's been taken over by a MAGA kind of crowd, just like the RNC is taken over by a MAGA kind of crowd. And so it's very different than what it was just 5-10 years ago. So it's changed significantly. Anyway,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Jana, I'll be quiet now.
no, when Commander said that people are starting to realize that it's it's picking between Trump or Biden, and people would rather vote for Biden than vote for Trump. It reminds me of Mercado said he'd rather vote for a corpse than for Trump. And I'm kind of like, from an outside perspective, like for me, I'm sitting in South
bloated,
Africa,
disease-ridden, radioactive corpse.
Yeah,
Come on, let's be accurate here.
like for me sitting out here from in South Africa, at this point I'm looking at it and saying, which of these two are going to be best for Ukraine? And at the moment, even with Biden, Ukraine is not allowed to strike Russian targets, military bases. So for me, that is kind of my kind of way of looking at it as a complete outsider with no proper vested interest in this.
I'll be completely honest, because of his health situation, but also the fact that it's so late in the game for this election, it's looking like they're going to, I don't know for certain, but it looks like even despite all of the issues with debates, they may stick with Biden. I've always seen it as there's no way this guy is going to make it for 4 more years if he wins election. It's probably like a vote for Biden is probably a vote for the first, woman president. It would probably be Kamala Harris taking over sometime within the 4-year period. So I would look more at what would Kamala Harris do when I think of what would Joe Biden do. Yeah.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Commander is just like, the dog will help me.
Yeah,
Yeah, at least the dog loves me.
I have, guys, I have some update as well. In the Russian internet, right, there's a big scandal because you probably remember all those numerous videos about Russian soldiers, wounded Russian soldiers that were left behind by their troops, by their comrades, and they either shoot themselves or explode using grenades and things like that. In a word, make our world a bit cleaner place. So their families are not receiving compensations for their fallen invaders. So basically, Russia, instead of punishing their medics, because why Russian soldiers shoot themselves is because they understand that they will not be evacuated. They're left behind. So instead of punishing or improving their medical service, they found a way to punish families of their own soldiers. And basically, not only they don't receive compensations, but again, according to the information from the Russian media, the soldiers don't receive morning sermon at the church.
Wow.
At the Russian church. That is one thing. And another thing here, we have a proof that I will try to use my camera to show you this photo.
Yeah.
So here we have a proof of Putin sending conscripts and basically using young conscripts at the front line. So this young soldier, young Russian invader today, was eliminated in Kharkivska Oblast by the National Guard of Ukraine. I think I even know the guys who improved this young individual. Yes, it's a tragedy, but guys, he didn't die because we killed him. He died because Putin sent him to Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
And who are the conscripts? Conscripts are young Russian soldiers, 18 to 21, that are obliged to serve in the army. And Putin claimed many, many times that he doesn't use conscripts at the front lines. He doesn't involve them, even though we captured like several hundreds of them during the first months of the invasion. But he also keeps using them today. Which is interesting, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
I finished.
Yeah. Just looking at the time here, we've got, 10 minutes. So we should probably do like final thoughts, whatever somebody wants to, or shout outs for fundraising and stuff and whatnot. And we'll quickly run through our last super chats and donations and whatnot as well. Let's see here. We'll start with Jana this time. We'll go top to bottom. I usually go the other way around. So here we go.
Yeah. Thank you for supporting Ukraine. And please share, and if you can, donate to the Project Jana thing we've got going on. And yeah, we'll keep you guys updated when we finally get the nice patches and everything for the Adopt a Starlink thing.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, Shills account's dropping the link right now, so you can go direct there and contribute to the fundraiser, right? No need to go through anybody else. Let's see. Secular Sakai, what are you thinking?
Yeah, just as usual, really good stream. Always great to see everybody here in chat and anyone who can join us, on camera. So please keep standing by Ukraine, everybody. And I guess my only fundraiser shout out would be specifically Project Tatiana. It's done pretty well, and let's keep supporting it. I'm gonna make another donation to it, and I hope everyone listening will consider doing so as well.
Good shout, man. Awesome. Commander McMillan.
One of the metrics that people have been talking about that, this will compel the Russians to the negotiating table. I don't totally agree, but I think it's a metric that's still worth mentioning fairly regularly. The Russians are currently losing dead, not casualties, dead, about 1,500 troops a week. And over the past 6 months, they've lost about 75,000. I want you to think about that. In 6 months, they've lost dead 65,000. The U.S. in our period in Vietnam lost, 58,000? And we were there for 12 years, I believe. So that gives you an idea of the kind of sustained casualty rates that the Russians are suffering right now and are enduring effectively with almost no perceptible impact on the society. Nobody's standing up and saying enough is enough.
Right.
So I think that we need to understand this isn't going to be one on the battlefield. It's getting those oligarchs pressured to the point where they stop supporting Putin and his cronies and bring down the regime. And I don't think that's going to be anytime soon.
Yeah.
Let me add on to that and say I agree.
Please.
I don't think I don't think it'll be anytime soon. But if it is going to happen, the foundation for doing so needs to be laid now, correctly.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right. Let's see.
The other thing I want to do is I always do.
Yeah.
Please, everybody, continue to correspond with your elected officials. Keep the pressure on so that the support for Ukraine continues unabated. Hopefully, even increases.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The local, regional, national, whatever your government's names for places are, just get on them. Exactly. Professor Gerdes, thanks for joining us again. What do you want to send everybody off with?
Empathy. So on the 4th of July, I was posting something in my community about so we were watching the fireworks. Imagine if this was real, right? Imagine what life would be like if that was actually legitimate happening to you, real bombs. Wrap that around your mind. I'm in my nice air conditioned house. I'm going to eat a hot meal and sleep in my warm bed. But not everybody is that blessed, especially not in Ukraine. And to remember that and keep that front of mind is important.
Yeah.
Fundraisers, I was talking about Project 22 earlier, and we need to do that. We might need to shift gears to get those gauze out first. That might become priority, but we got to not forget about Project 22.
Well said. Yeah, definitely not forgetting. No way. But that gauze thing, simply needing gauze, that has to be addressed quickly if that's, exactly. Good word. Starsky,
Is that
what do
a
you
pun?
think? Yeah. A pun?
Addressed.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I guess it was an unintentional. Starsky, what do you think, buddy?
I think it was a great show. Thank you so much for supporting Ukraine. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Andrew Petrie, have a great sandwich with elk. And guys, we'll see you later. Stay tuned. And thanks for supporting the people of Ukraine, because this is the right thing to do.
Well said. Well said. I'm going to do some quick shout outs here. I'm going to try to be pretty quick about it. Martin13 with 22 euro super chat. Here I'm Slavie for Peter. Leathercat, rest in honor and peace, Pete. Hasta la vista, Fouché. Warrior for freedom. Guardian of the innocent. Hero of Ukraine. Good words. We got Evangelos. Evangelos. Taxi art. I'm on the small screen. I should have moved it. Sorry. 10 euro super chat there. Steve Walsh was in for a $10 one. Elaine Crossland in with a $40 super chat. Evangelos there again for another 10 euros for Pete's last fundraiser. I'm keeping track of where it all goes. Generic username with a $10 super chat in there. Was the Children's Hospital able to replace their specialized equipment? That's something that I'll have to look into. But as of now, nothing, right? Yeah. So
I know that there's a big initiative currently around helping them to restore their equipment. So basically, there's a lot of organizations in Ukraine are united around helping them. I'm not sure about international organizations, but here in Ukraine, there's big brands that obliged to help them with equipment and things like that, but unfortunately it will take a lot of time. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of people that require treatment, and they were evacuated or sent to other hospitals. But in Ukraine, this process has started.
Cool. Good to know. At least, because a place like that, they have all kinds of crazy stuff the kids are going to need. So, Evangelos again with another 10 euro for NAFO. Reb Tree came in with a $10 one in memory of Pete. Good shout. Good shout. Stephen Walsh came in with another $100 one. Remember Hostomel Airport. Changed the whole war. That was all I needed to know. Those are, you can't argue there. Yvonne Way came in with a super sticker. Wizard of Ooze came in with democracies may be frustrating, but this past month, good people united to deny Putler's seeds of chaos in Europe. I have faith in us and in Ukraine. Good shout. Yvonne Way with another killer super sticker. Petra Olsen came in with Swedish kroner, 129 of them with love to Ukraine. Cats on the team here, I believe that's the right Cats threw in a cup. I think it's like 10 pounds there. David Aim came in with a super chat. Thank you very much. Stephen Walsh in again. Thank you for repatriating Pete. God bless you, Greg. Good shout. Let's see here. Rose Rowley came in with a new member renewal there, and Cats as well. Stephen Walsh came in with another $10 one. Biden, Yeltsin, the BICAM government is so awesome. I love Annapolis, the seat of thinking in government. That's a good one. Papa Dutch came in with a couple of dollar super chat there. Ben Hodges for president. Cypher came in with a $20 one. Put it to whoever you're supporting in this stream. So that'll go over to Jana's team. Stephen Walsh with another one in. What is it going to take? Bandits? I think we need snipers to get to the Kremlin and start dealing with things. John Mark Paganel, $5 for Jana's milk. So we'll send that over to make sure you can get some milk.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's cool. Papa Dutch sent it. There was a message as well. He just checked Amazon. 2 cases of gauze are waiting to be picked up in Greenville, Pennsylvania for Greg's church. So there we go. Awesome. Way to go. Way to go. That's a big shout out. And I think that catches us up. So thanks for all the support today, everybody. You know, we got some cash in the coffers to hand out. Good. And, you know, let's hope that we keep getting good news about big shipments of support to Ukraine. And, you know, maybe the trickle down effect can slowly, you know, be better. On that note, thanks to everybody on the panel for joining. Thanks to you all out there for watching. And a big thanks to our team who do so much for us in the background. We got Annette, Shayna Caldwell, Crazy Cat, Leslie Bowe, Tone Ottenson, and Super Chat Matt. And tomorrow, Commander McMillan's joining Annette on Beyond the Headlines, and there's a room in our Discord where you can post some questions. So get in there, be there, or be square. Remember, everybody, Slavie, Ukraine.
Herojem slava.
Slava.
All right. We're out of here. Thanks for joining us, everyone.